All right, so the CIF says you have to have a 2.0 GPA to be eligible to play sports. So for my program, for boys volleyball, I mandate that the minimum they can have is a 2.5. And people say, well, what does that show? And what it is that we don't settle for minimum. Do you want, you want a minimum quality of life? Do you want a minimum relationship? Do you want things in the future? You want your family quality to be minimum and just very average and low, or are you going to strive for a little bit better? So I give this speech every year, and it's very important that they strive for better than minimum as men and as people. So 2.5 is a GPA as far as standards that you asked about. Another, it's just expectation. You don't have kids absent from practice. They're there every day. Unless there's some crazy thing, there's expectations. You're there on time. If you come to practice, if you're to come, we go 3:15 to 5:15 every day. School gets out at 2:45. I have my assistants opening the gym right then at 2:45. I get there at 15 minutes early every time. And every kid has to be there 15 minutes before. You'll go in there 15 minutes before practice even starts. Everyone's laced up, everything's already set up, and they're warming up already before practice even starts. So when 3:15 hits, we're already going. We're already going. Practice is already underway. We're not waiting. Kids aren't tying an ankle brace and lacing up their shoes or kissing their girlfriend before they come in right at 3:15. No. 15 minutes before, you need to be in the right mindset. Everything's ready to go. So there's some policies and procedures I think are really important to get you in the right frame of mind, shows that you value the program.
Now, how were you able to establish that?
You say it and they do it. And you got to be strict. You can't have empty words. If you want something to look a certain way, then do it. If it bothers you in the classroom that a kid turns on and talks, you better correct it, because if you don't, it's only going to spread. So the moment, if something bothers me, I'm going to let it be known. A kid, a few years ago, we had a freshman kid came to practice, a couple hickeys right here on his neck, right? And he comes in. Now, as a coach, that bothers me, right? That bothers me. Now, maybe this is just personality. Some people say, oh, why? He's a kid. Let the kid be a kid. So I pulled him aside and had a conversation with him that he's wearing a Hoover jersey. That represents our school. It represents me. He's also representing his family. And I said, now, dude, with your family, that might be okay. With our family, with the Hoover and what you're wearing right there, it's no good. Don't ever let me see you come like that again. So I gave him his little bit of warning. And I pulled him up in front of the whole program, little freshman kid, and said, if anybody ever comes like this, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, somebody, they challenge it. They see if it happens. So a kid comes, guy's got a freaking necklace. Looks like a vampire attacked him. Pop, 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 pop all over his thing. So I have what's called a coach on one. And so there's a consequence. I told you to do this. There's consequences are everywhere in life. Consequences can be positive or negative. If you work hard, in the weight room, you're going to get stronger. That's a consequence. If you study real hard, you're probably going to get smarter and get better grades. That's a consequence. So the consequence for coming with a bunch of this junk all over your neck and not listening to what the coaches said, and that's the more important thing, is I said something and you defied it. That you're in immediate disobedience right away. So the consequence for that is a coach on one. So what happens is the entire program makes a circle, and it's me and the kid in the middle. And he has to touch every ball. So I'll throw the ball this way, throw the ball this way. I'll hit a ball at them, and they have to get a touch on every ball. And they go till they are dog-tired, and the whole group cheers them on. And at the end is the most important part. And at the very end, they're hardly able, they can hardly move. They're just dog-tired. And I hold the kid up, and I look him in the face, and I say, understand that I'm not mad at you, but I have a set of standards that you must follow and abide by. Do you understand? And they say, yes, coach. I said, thank you. Don't let it happen again. And we move forward, and you don't talk about it again. You just move on. So that takes one of those every year. Every year you have to do one of those at some point, and in the program, there's never an issue again. If I see someone walk in at 3:05, I flip. I absolutely lose my mind on them. And screaming at them, or and I do it in a way that is relational. You gotta, you're not, being mean doesn't really accomplish much. So you have to have a relationship with the kid. But I let him know very loud for everything. Young man, get over here, and I'll say this very loud so you understand. You're a junior, are you not? Yes, coach. Say, are you on the varsity team? Yes, coach. And your rear end's walking in 5 minutes late? Coach, practice doesn't start for 10. Don't backtalk me. Listen right now. what a horrible example you are for this entire program. You got freshmen looking up at you, and your rear end's coming in at 3:05. What time should you be here? 3 o'clock. Yeah, that's right. 3 o'clock. Blah blah. And and then there'll be some sort of consequence right away. Right, whether it's a little liner or running or maybe a wall sit or something, just something. There's got to be, so you got to have some teeth to the law. You can't just be taught. So something happens, it's very quick. Boom, it's done. I say thank you. Don't ever let it happen again. Yes, Coach. Boom. So immediately, every young kid in the program just saw Coach Ross isn't playing around. He says 3:15. You better be here 15 minutes early. So this is something that happens. You're gonna have to do one of those a year. They're gonna test it unless you got really good leadership and those older guys are telling those younger guys, your rear end needs to get it together right away.
Exactly. And then, what that goes to show is that you really care about the student athlete themselves as well as your program.
Yeah, you value it.
Once one affects it, it becomes mostly like a poison, as you would say.
100%. Yep, 100%. It's a poison. It's a cancer, and it spreads. You value a date with your wife. You value a date with or whoever. I don't care. And if you value it, you're going to be there on time, right? Your wedding someday is probably going to be an important day. Probably you shouldn't be late to that, right? And you won't be. Why? Because you understand the importance of it. So you need to understand that practice is very important, and to be late to it is an absolute slap in my face. And I tell them that, right? Say, get over here. You should just slap me right here, saying you don't care about the program like that. And it fixes it right away. They understand very clearly. I had one kid, Ming Chen. This is like 4 or 5 years ago now, and he's at UC Irvine. He's doing very well. He's got a 3-point something. He's on the dean's list. And Ming Chen, he played volleyball for me, and he went for a job interview for some very competitive internship or something like that. And he said, Coach, the funniest thing? The interview was at 3:30 or something like that. He goes, you know what time I got there? I said, what time, Ming? He said, 3:15. I said, why was that? Well, he said, well, you taught us. You always got to be 15 minutes early. Anything after that, you're late, no matter what it is. I said, good, Ming. It sounds like you're growing up a little bit, right? He's learning something. So, and it's true, but it's a life lesson, So that's the main thing. You got to teach life to these kids. You can't just be. If all you care about is wins and losses, I fear for you as a coach, and I fear for your program because I think you're way too short-sighted, probably. Wins and losses are great. Don't get me wrong. I love to win, but
it's not all about that.
It's not. But if you do things the right way, you're probably going to win a lot too. It's funny how those go hand in hand.